But did Sentinel actually have a point in Transformers 1? Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we are doing the long-promised full spoiler look at Transformers 1. Now, there was a lot packed into this movie. I cannot actually, in one video, get all of the main spoiler points. I'll probably be making shorter videos after this about individual points. I just wanted to focus on Optimus, on how his character was developed, on how Megatron's character was developed, some weird little things that I noticed, and a really actually big question regarding Sentinel and the original Primes. There will be spoilers. You have been warned. If you don't want any spoilers for Transformers 1, if you still haven't seen it yet, go see it. It is a great movie. Hands down, one of the best Transformers movies to come out, period, ever. But to give you time to click away, I'm going to tell you to go check out the links below the video to get yourself a copy of my book, Hidden Fires, the latest in the Dying Ember series, dragons, aliens, and things that go boom in the night. Now I'm going to get right into the spoilers. You have been warned. Shoo shoo. Orion Pax, over the course of this movie, becomes Optimus Prime. And I want to just, in discussing this character development, this character growth, I want to discuss the two biggest flaws in the movie, the things that held this back from being a truly great movie. Number one was the Marvel-style flippancy that Chris Hemsworth brought to the Optimus Prime role. That's on the writers, that's on the directors, it's on him a little bit too, but it was just unavoidable, and this was not a movie that really needed that. In order for this movie to really blossom into its full potential, it needed a level of sincerity on the same par as the Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. You needed that level of taking itself seriously, I think. And the opening scenes with Orion Pax are just a little too jokey. There's flippant, a few too many quips. And it is a fairly new take on the character, and I don't want to criticize a studio for trying something new, but it just didn't vibe with the theme. This is a serious movie about serious political issues, and there has to be a better balance between making a movie fun and attractive to a younger audience and making it too grimdark. And I think the beginning of this movie weighted it too much towards the flippant, and you can see that in the way that Orion Pax could just kind of quips and jokes with the security guards who are chasing him, the way he interacts with Megatron at first. The way he interacts with D-16 at first. And this is perfectly echoed, I might add, well set up with him running through the background of Cybertron. The flippancy was well done cinematically. It was well done with joining the writing and the directing. The actor was definitely vibing with the overall theme the director was going for. But it just stole some of the weight from the latter half of the movie. But we see Orion Pax, this earnest miner, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to help, trying to reach out, trying to make the situation better. And on the other side, we have D-16, who's also in his own way trying to make the world a better place, but is far more dedicated to sticking and staying within the rules, far more dedicated to that sense of control and certainty you get from always following the rules rather than always doing the right thing. So as they discover more and more of what's going on around them, Orion keeps pushing D-16 to break the rules, trying to reach out, to be something more, to do something better. And this leads them on their series of adventures, and you see Orion, because he is flexible, when the big blow comes, when the big plot twist happens, he's able to kind of accept it and roll with it. And this is where the acting really starts to get good, in my opinion. When Hemsworth really starts to lean in to the more serious, more somber Optimus Prime character, I was genuinely impressed. That is quite the character shift, and he handled it very well. Again, kudos to the writers, to the directors, that have even the background color schemes as we shift from the busy, energetic Cybertronian underground to this post-apocalyptic surface. Lighting and the aesthetics and the vibes were just on point. And then you have Orion dealing with the fact that his leaders were traitors. And he takes this, it traumatizes him, but then he picks up and just as he was doing before that, he just continues asking, okay, what do I do now to make this better? So his character is consistent, only now he's being faced with something far more terrifying, far bigger than he is. And yet, again, there still is that unfortunate dichotomy of the really being too flippant before the growth for the level of seriousness that's required after the growth. Because of that unfortunate dichotomy, I find D-16 to Megatron's development actually much smoother, much more not believable. Orion to Optimus was just as believable, but D-16 to Megatron was artistically more satisfying. Probably because of Megatron's stick-in-the-mud, rule-following personality before the transformation. There was less of a dissonance between that and his dark warlord personality after the transformation. So you have D-16, he's a rule follower. He idolizes those in power. And that becomes very, very clear from the beginning. D-16 has a profound respect for authority, and when that is shattered by Sentinel's inevitable betrayal, it breaks something in him, whereas it only bent something in Optimus. So and I've actually, this is very true to life in my experience, you get people who give so much trust and so much faith into something blindly. And when it turns out to be not what they thought it was, when it turns out to be fool's gold instead of gold, they just are traumatized by that betrayal. And again, I've seen this happen in real life. And the way that the actor presented that, going from D-16 to Megatron, that sort of reaching that breaking point and not being able to deal with the realities of life without snapping. That was just a brilliant portrayal. And again, I think I enjoyed Megatron's journey of transformation more than Optimus's because there was not that dissonance. There was no unnecessary flippancy in D-16's character to contrast with the seriousness of Megatron's character. Then, kind of on a side note, when you have Elita One's character, she had a very, very interesting position in the movie. Because when she starts off, she was what a lot of people complain about. She was the annoying, irritating girl boss. Good at everything, and completely dismissive to her male or mech counterparts. But the studio knew what they were doing when they wrote and directed the actress, because they actually took that character and made her enjoyable. She is still obnoxious and arrogant and dismissive of people who are either as skilled or more skilled as she is, or they have skills in different areas that she refuses to recognize. But they don't play it off as if the universe she is in thought she was all that. So how am I saying this? The annoying girl boss character be a Gary Stu or Mary Sue, is the character who can do no wrong in universe. In a different movie, in a lesser movie, Alita 1 would have been presented by the universe that was written around her as being as good as she thought she was, and always as right as she thought she was. But from the very beginning, you can see that no, the people she works with are irritated with her. They accept her because she is really good. She gets their quotas up. They accept her leadership, but they don't really like her. She is abrasive and short-tempered and arrogant. And they accept her because she is beneficial to them. If you have a boss, if you've ever had to work with a boss like that, if they get you that bonus at the end of the year, you're willing to put up with a lot. And they're like, okay, yeah, she is full of herself, Alita, but she can back up what she can back she can pay the checks that her mouth cashes that her body can't pay the check. And anyway, you get what I'm saying. Alita 1 was a very well-written character. She was annoying, but the show acknowledges that she's annoying. She's full of herself, but the show acknowledges that she's full of herself. And when it comes right down to it, when she's put in a situation where she realizes that she's not enough, that she does not have the skills needed to do a task, she is willing to swallow her pride, partially humble herself, and seek out help from the person who, in the hierarchy that she's dedicated her entire life to, is not all that, but who has the skill set needed in this new situation. I think that Alita 1 really illustrates the brilliance of the show writers and the directors and the actors in pulling this off. They're like, okay, here is a character archetype that we know the audience will find annoying. Therefore, we are going to introduce her as a person who is acknowledged by the universe that she is in to be annoying, and then we're going to give her character development and character growth that makes you like her and bond to her by the end of the show anyway. That was the same thing that the Clone Wars writers did with Ahsoka. They were putting in a kid-friendly character to attract a younger audience, and that classically across all media has been very annoying to the existing audience. So they said, all right, we're going to make this character annoying. We're going to acknowledge that you are annoyed by this character from the get-go, give you in-universe reasons to be annoyed at this character, and then we're going to make you love this character so much it hurts later on. Now, this video is getting longer, so I think I'm going to skip the final part. Did Sentinel have a point and make that its own video? But I just want to say that they wrote and the movie played Sentinel's character perfectly. I refuse to call him Sentinel Prime, the faker, by the way. But anyway, they introduced this character, this bombastic, larger-than-life character who's clearly using classic Big Brother brainwashing techniques to keep the population under control. From the beginning to any experienced media consumer, you can tell that Sentinel is up to something. He is not the paragon that he presents himself as. To the point when Sentinel interacts with D-16 and Orion after the race, you expect him to reveal his ugly face then. But no, he maintains that cheerful image. He praises them, and he clearly uses them for his own ends, but it was actually quite a little, I call it a corkscrew plot twist. We know where the story is going. We know that Sentinel's going to be evil, but he is not, in that moment we get a little plot twist. This is not the situation under which Sentinel will be revealed to be evil, which actually shows one of Sentinel's virtues. He wanted this race to go a certain way. He wanted to use it for propaganda in a certain way. So we see that Sentinel here is flexible. He's not the kind of tyrant who just throws a tantrum when things don't go exactly his way. He is willing to look at this complete chaos that these two miners made of his plans and say, you know what? I can use this. They can still be useful to me. So he is a pragmatic villain, we learn here. He is completely 100% willing to be friendly with the lower classes if it benefits him. And so he steps in, he praises them for their initiative, he tells them the very material benefits that have accrued to the state through their actions, and he offers them a reward, and then breezes out and leaves them to the machinations of the machine, that is Cybertron, and so they get stuck down below in the depths, which leads to them escaping and going on their big adventure. Wherein it will be revealed that he betrayed the True Primes and has been deliberately enslaving a massive part of the population through body modifications that prevents them from using the same amount of resources as the rest of the population, so he can divert those resources to paying the invaders, to paying basically, what do you call that? Instead of actively fighting someone, you have to pay them off to leave you alone. Bribe money. There's an official word for it. When one kingdom pays another kingdom not to invade them. I forget it. Our main characters have to face this betrayal. Sentinel is revealed for what he is. The traitor who sold out Cybertron to the Quintessence. Personally killed all the True Primes. And this was just played beautifully. Again, everything is in harmony. From the background lighting, the false gilding of the false Prime's throne. This was just a very well put together movie. Again, acting, music, backgrounds, everything works together to show you the story that's going on. And I just have so much more to say, but we're approaching the end of a function length video for my channel. And the big thing, did Sentinel actually have a point in what he did? I'm going to handle that in another video. But what do you think, my wonderful viewers? Do you prefer the character development of Orion Pax to Optimus Prime, or of D-16 to Megatron in this movie? Which one do you think was better? Hit that like and subscribe button, leave a comment below telling me what you think, and peace out, my wonderful viewers. Step into a world of science and of story, of laughter and of tears. Betty Adams has crafted entire worlds of science fiction and science fantasy adventure in her Humans Are Weird series and in her Dying Embers series. Be prepared to laugh, cry, and become absorbed. Check out her books at the links below the video.